Did you watch the State of the Union address? I watched it, and I watched the response by the GOP, and I just wanted to talk about a few quick things. You know, guys, I haven't been on here for a while, and I have been keeping up pretty much at what's going on, but it's just so much that's always going on. So let's jump right in. What did I think right up front about the State of the Union by Barack Obama? You know, I found it to be, maybe I should open up my Twitter too so I can say what I said on Twitter. I found it to be very inspirational for one, very aspirational also. It was not so confrontational as I expected, but kind of upbeat, and he flipped from one thing to the other really quickly, and he talked a whole lot about where we have come from, you know, because we were in dire straits when he took office. And we're doing better. We're not doing great, but we are doing better. And he kind of ticked off many of the things throughout his speech that have much improved over the last 5 years. Unemployment rate has reached its lowest rate in 5 years. We've made, what he said, 8 million hires over the last 5 years. He's worked with corporations and what is that? Well, let me look at my notes because, you know, my memory ain't always so good. Okay, he talked about using his powers without Congress several times, but you know, in my opinion, it wasn't like he said, oh, I'll do this without you, but he said, I will do such and such and such, and you can help by doing such and such and such, you know, and if you can do this so and so and so, then I can, you know, release this, or I can make it quicker, or I can cut red tape by, you know, signing this. So it was very like, I'll work with you if you will continue to move us forward very much. Of course, it was implied that I will do some things if you will not do them also, which which needs to be said, because there are a few things he can do, but not so much that he can do on his own. I do remember at some point, and this is going past my notes, at some point he was talking about closing Guantanamo. He signed an executive order, I believe in his first 60 days or 120 days or 100 days or something like that, to close Guantanamo Bay, and it is still open. So he cannot do everything just by executive order, and a lot of people don't realize that. And some people say, oh, well, Guantanamo is still open, but it's like he signed an executive order to close it. You can look it up on the internet. You can find whatever it is. I found it a long time ago, but you can look it up, and he did. But it is still not closed because the Senate has not closed it. They can't decide on where to send people, when to try them, what kind of course to try them in, such and such. So he can't do everything by executive order. A lot has to be done by the Congress. I liked how he talked about also things that have been done outside of what Congress can do. He talked about Michelle's initiative to get people moving and stuff, and how she worked with schools and with business leaders to lower the obesity rates, and it has been working, and that is without any laws passed or anything like that. That's just by going out and contacting businesses and school and putting this out there in the public consciousness and actually finding things that people can do to get people moving and to get things working. He also talked about the Race to the Top program, and I actually met an administrator in Florida, and I asked him a bunch of questions about it, and this was just, you know, off the, I don't know what it was, down in the village or something like that. And he was an administrator here in New York when New York got a lot of that money, and he was saying the hard part of it was putting in the implementation of things in time so that they didn't lose the funding that they'd gotten, because the wheels of this red tape run so slowly that even though they got a whole bunch of money here in New York, that it was hard getting things in place in order to spend the money. He mentioned research on high quality early education, and mentioned a program like Race to the Top for pre-K, which would be wonderful if they could do some kind of competition and areas could win money in order to fund their pre-K. But he also talked about how even though Congress hasn't acted, so many states have acted on so many different initiatives on their own without Congress backing them, just like raising the minimum wage, the pre-K, early education programs. You know, so many states have already started to act on those things on their own without Congress, which is wonderful. And he got a huge ovation about equal pay for women, and high fives in the audience, you know, because everybody was talking about it and everybody was just on it. Give America a raise. That is the big thing. Give America a raise. Talking about trying to raise the minimum wage, federal minimum wage, to $10.10. My RA is something that got a lot of flux and flutter on Twitter, and I don't even want to talk about that because I'm too poor to be saved. Let me stop. Save it for retirement. I'm hoping that my darn union, if I keep my union dues up and stuff like that, because I'm vested in the retirement fund for the union, hopefully that'll help out a little bit. He also talked about some of the benefits of Obamacare, as you guys call it, and asked for no more repeal votes, which got a lot of hoops and hollers. And he was saying, you know, were the first 48 votes enough? Spend some more time on what we need to accomplish and stop trying to fight the old battle. It's gone through the Supreme Court. It's gone through all these different places. You know, it has been approved. Let's move on. If you can't repeal it, why not improve it? That's something that might work. And he asked people to help each other sign up, and it was really a little funny portion. He was talking about calling your mom and stuff like that, and how she would be happy that you just called. And he talked about drones and surveillance reform and closing Guantanamo Bay. He also mentioned America will always be at the side of Israel, to a standing ovation, which I was just like, why we have to go through that? But he did mention an independent state for Palestine, which I thought was, and he said that first, and then he said, of course, we'll always be on the side of Israel. Yeah, always be strong partners and all that good stuff. Why do every president has to do that? Is that who controls the world? Israel, such a small country? Yeah, I don't know. Tell me down in the comments if that's what you think. He got a huge ovation and mentioned a lot for mental health care for veterans. And one veteran he pointed out, Corey Remsburg, was such an inspiring story. Let me tell you, I'm sorry, I had tears in my eyes because I just did. It was just very touching, very personal. For him to know this person, have met him, and continue to stay in contact with him was just, I love how Obama brings in the Okay, so my card was full and the computer cut off, or the camera cut off. So I'm just going to end it here by asking you, what did you think of the State of the Union for 2014? And what would you like to see happen this year with the Congress and the President? You think they're going to get anything done, anything substantial before the midterm elections? Are you voting in the midterm elections? Let me know down in the comments. Peace.